You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, this is Jessie. How y'all doing out there tonight? You know, I miss you when we're not talking, although, boy, am I happy not to be talking about a fresh terrorist attack tonight. Yes, I understand. Last night was a horrific incident. I do have an update and even a sound clip on it. However, believe it or not, there is other stuff going on. Didn't have to look far either. Some days I gotta dig to find it. But not tonight. Tonight, it came walking up and went, hello, here I am. So, what is going on in this world? Well, we've got people who think talking can stop evil. Excuse me? Talking. Yes, I said talking. Now, talking may have some effect, but I truly wonder sometimes how much you can influence evil. I truly do. Because, well, quite frankly, if you look back to World War II, when they thought they'd negotiated their safety, they weren't safe. Talking doesn't stop evil. I mean, come on. Haven't we learned this lesson before, kids? Talking doesn't stop evil. It just doesn't. Talking has no effect, almost no effect, on evil. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. There's nothing you can say to someone who is truly bent on doing evil that will usually stop them. Once in a rare while, you succeed. But most of the time you fail. Now, why do I bring this up? Well, you've got the group of people that says, well, if we only gave the terrorists jobs, then why do we have well-educated men and women blowing themselves up? Doesn't wash. Just doesn't wash with this host. Well, you could make them understand our point of view. They don't care. No, really, they don't care. They don't care about our point of view, kids. I don't know how to get this across to you. They don't care. They really don't care if we are going to do whatever or say whatever. We can run our mouths all day long. You're not going to stop a truly evil doer from doing evil. And well, We sleep soundly in our beds at night because rough men stand ready to visit violence on those who would do us harm. This quote has been passed around many times. Some people say Orwell said it. Some people say Grenier. And who knows who said it. But it is out there. Now, I'm sorry. You can try all you want to give a terrorist a job. That doesn't mean he's not going to do evil. It may mean that he's going to wait a little longer before he does evil. But someone that is truly intent on doing evil isn't going to back down because they have a job. All right. So, I am in the chat room over on klrnradio.com. Or you can catch me on Twitter at Jessies POV. And yes, I'm getting ready to send out the show link. What can I say? I'm just a little bit behind. There is not much I can do about being a little bit behind my schedule tonight. But I am. And of course, the Empire State Building is dark tonight in sympathy for what happened in Manchester. Now, I tweeted out a couple of things today and last night. If you do not want terrorists to win, go to concerts, go to sporting events, go to shows. Don't change your life for terrorists. That's what they want. Alright? Flat out. That's what they want. Then the other thing I have to say is fear. The other thing I tweeted out that I thought was worth tweeting out, fear cannot take what you do not give it. Do not give in to these terrorists. Do not. Now, Ariana Grande, I'm speaking to you. This was in no way your fault. It could have been your concert, it could have been another concert, it could have been a soccer or football game. Evil was determined to strike. Period. End of sentence. Now, for the 22 families who have lost their loved ones, my words mean little. However, at least your loved ones enjoyed their last hours on this earth. I know that's very little and a very somewhat shallow statement. But At least they died after a fun event. And I don't want to see anyone die, so please hold the hate mail. Though most of those who died were killed instantly, from the reports I've read. The person who did this was evil, the epitome of evil. I'm grateful they died. Do me a favor, bury him with a pork rind. I'm sorry, this man was just the absolute epitome of evil. Everyone was out to have a good time. They weren't out to hurt people. They weren't out to cause anyone harm. They weren't out to do anything negative. They weren't even debating politics. They were just out to enjoy themselves. They just wanted to have a good time, go to a concert, maybe pick up a t-shirt or a CD to prove they were there. That's all they wanted. And unfortunately, evil had another plan. And it was horrific. Yes, it was absolutely horrific. And there is no other way to put this. Now, here was the update that the Manchester PD gave earlier today.
This has been the most horrific incident we have ever faced here in Greater Manchester, and one that we all hoped we would never see. Families and many young people were out to enjoy a concert at the Manchester Arena and have very sadly lost their lives. Our thoughts are with those 22 victims that we now know have died, the 59 people who have been injured, and their loved ones. We were called at about 10:33 p.m. to reports of an explosion at the Manchester Arena. This was at the conclusion of the Ariana Grande concert. We then received more than 240 calls, and emergency services responded very quickly to the scene. We have been treating this as a terrorist incident, and we believe at this stage the attack last night was conducted by one man. The priority is to establish whether he was acting alone or as part of a network. The attacker, I can confirm, died at the arena. We believe the attacker was carrying an improvised explosive device which he detonated, causing this atrocity.
And I apologize for the road noise that was in the background of that. I did my best to clean it up. Now, this is interesting because May of last year, and the date on this article is May 10th, 2016, Greater Manchester Police sorry for Muslim terrorist mock blast. Police who staged a mock attack featuring a bomber shouting Aloha Granola Bar, aka, you know what I'm saying, have been forced to apologize for stereotyping. They were criticized for using a fake Muslim terrorist to test the response of emergency services. 800 volunteers took part in the overnight drill to make it as realistic as possible. The event was at the Trafford Center, was not linked to any specific terrorist threat, and they were criticized for the radical Islamist stereotype. Now, the Greater Manchester Police Assistant Chief Constable Gary Sherwin said it is a necessity for agencies, including the police, to train and prepare using exercises such as this, so we'll be in the best possible position to respond in the event the unthinkable happened and an attack took place. The scenario for this exercise is based on an attack by the extremist Daesh style organization. Alright. Guess what? That's what happened last night. And the Manchester police were praised. So anybody who criticized them this past May needs to get off their high horse and thank them for doing what they did. Because I'm sorry, I don't care what's going on. They did everything they could. To protect their citizens. And that's what you want. That's what you want. You want your local police, wherever you live, to have every advantage in the face of this, of anything similar to this happening in your neighborhood. Now, there were some good things that came out last night. A member of the public has been praised for her actions following reports she led a number of unaccompanied youngsters to safety in the immediate aftermath of the suicide bombing at the Manchester Arena on Monday evening. Paula Robinson, 48, from West Dalton, told the media she was at Manchester Victoria Railway Station close to the arena. It's basically right next door. When the attack took place, she felt the explosion, saw a large number of teenage girls running away from the venue. We ran out. It was literally seconds after the explosion. I got the teens to run with me. She led the group to a nearby hotel and then shared her contact details on social media so the girls' parents could contact her. It is thought that Mrs. Robinson named the wrong hotel in her posts. However, she did manage to reunite several children with their parents. That's a great thing. Now, The first fatality identified in the horrific bombing of the arena in Manchester was an 18-year-old woman who had been studying health and social care in college. The second was an 8-year-old girl, whose teacher said she was simply a beautiful little girl. A dozen other children were among the 59 wounded in the attack, while others were likely among the 22 killed. That these innocent young people, fans of Ariana Grande, have been targeted is reprehensible. It is sickening. So, the tactics were cold and calculated. I mean, this was a night at a teenage rock concert. You know what kind of fans are going to be there. Now, what was really amazing was there was a vigil held in Albert Square in Manchester. And this shows the strength of people. But among the thousands of people who gathered was a Muslim man, Amir Shah. And he says, I'm not here as a person with brown skin or someone born Muslim. I'm here as a Mancunian. If that spirit prevails, the terrorists will have failed. Thank you. Thank you. And we want terrorists around the world to fail. The suicide bomber was identified, and now they are searching for anyone who was associated with him. The attack was the deadliest in the United Kingdom since four British Muslims killed 52 people in suicide bombings in London's transport system in 2005. But don't be quick to forget the attacks in cities including Paris, Nice, Brussels, St. Petersburg, Berlin, and London. This is absolutely a very horrific attack. Now, of course, security is being stepped up for everything in and around the United Kingdom this weekend, especially including the rugby match. And the World Weekend Soccer Cup final at Wembley and rugby at Twickenham. Security will also be reviewed for smaller events. Because if you think back, in March, a British-born convert to Islam crashed a car into pedestrians on London's Westminster Bridge, killing 4 people before stabbing to death a police officer who was on the grounds of Parliament. The man was shot dead at the scene. So, this wasn't their first brush with terror. Alright, folks, I am up on that break. And yeah, I kind of need one. We will pick up with some other stories. And as a reminder, you can catch me on Twitter at Jessies POV. and I'm over in the KLRN radio chat room, and I will see you all on the other side.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Thank y'all for hanging in there with me while we paid them bills. Yes, gotta take those commercial breaks. Alright, the sound you've all been waiting for. Yes, I have show prep. There's still other things going on in the world. So, now this one goes back to what we were talking to before the break. Yes, it does. Brainwashed jihadi brides are returning to the streets of Britain as their Daesh husbands prepare for last stand in Syria. Up to 10 jihadi brides are believed to have left Syria for the UK since the start of the year. A few of them have already returned, and more can follow. Some of the women are said to have been ordered to leave by Daesh fighter husbands. Around 350 Brits who fled the country to join Daesh are already back home on British soil. Many of these people are free to roam the streets, but could pose a security threat. Jihadi brides who fled to join Daesh in Syria are now returning to the United Kingdom as widows. There's been much debate about what to do with returning jihadis. Many fear they pose a serious terror threat due to the training they may have received from hardened extremists. Yes, they may have received extremist training. Now, of course, this chilling revelation comes after 22 concert goers were killed and another 59 wounded. The government was already under pressure to crack down on Daesh returnees after last month's Westminster attack, and Khalid Massoud plowed a truck into scores of pedestrians in central London. With Daesh rapidly losing ground in Syria and Iraq, the number of British returnees is likely to swell further, raising the question what should be done about them. Of the 350 who have come back, only 54 individuals have been prosecuted, and 30 more face charges. Some of the 10 jihadi brides who fled Daesh territory could be anywhere in the UK. A German woman who fled Daesh for a bolt hole in a rebel-held northern Syria told the reporters as many as 35 others had abandoned the group since the start of the year. Dozens of women have left Daesh areas and tried to get to Turkey since the beginning of the year. When your husband is dead or the situation is dangerous, the women are brought to houses where they all live together. And she claims that the men have become even more brutal as Daesh loses territory to both Syrian regime and the Iraqi army. Most escapees are believed to pay smugglers thousands of pounds to get across the border to Turkey, where they seek help from embassies. Approximately 850 British men and women have left for Syria and Iraq, and approximately 350 are believed to have returned. We don't know how many who are returning were trained in the use of explosives and firearms. No one really knows. Let's get it straight. However, do they really want to wait and find out? Could this bring more attacks to the United Kingdom? It's a pretty disturbing thought. Now, we're going to leave Manchester for a while. We haven't mentioned quackers, and I didn't even fool with the idiot last night. Manchester was the story for the whole hour last night. In fact, wonderful terrorism expert Justin Kinney, who's actually pursuing his PhD in terrorism. Yes, there's such a thing these days. Was graciously joined me on the air with practically no notice. Went, you, get on the air with me as fast as you can. And he graciously joined me on the air. So if you didn't hear it all, hear last night's episode, please do look it up. iTunes, Google Play, Podcast.com, Pocket Casts, many other places. And of course, you can always go to klrnradio.com and hit up my show page. So, what else is going on? Why did I say that can talk, stop evil? Let me find the story. Oh yes, it's here in my stack of show prep. Here we go. And my jaw just hit the ground when I saw this. South Korean President Moon is requesting help from, wait for it, the Vatican in easing tensions on the Korean Peninsula. Okay, wait. This is just nuts. This is just nuts. First of all, North Korea doesn't have Catholics. North Korea, religion other than Juche is illegal. Okay. Now, so the recently elected Korean leader sent a special envoy to deliver to Pope Francis this week. Moon, is South Korea's second Roman Catholic president, requested the Pope to play a mediating role in what he hopes could culminate in a summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Archbishop Kim Hee-young of Gwangju arrived in Rome on Monday, told the South Korean newspaper he expects to meet with the Pope this week to deliver the letter. The South Korean Archbishop said Pope Francis played a pivotal role in U.S.-Cuba relations in 2014. Even when the United States and Cuba were in the middle of long-standing conflict, they needed each other. Now, I see a lot of differences between the U.S. versus Cuba and North versus South Korea. I don't think Kim Jong-un respects the Pope. I'm sorry. I don't think he has anything. But Pope Francis did say last month the North Korean missile issue has been going on for more than a year. He also said the situation became overheated and suggested an intermediary. I don't know. I mentioned this to a friend and they said, the Pope doesn't have an army. Translation, North Korea is not going to listen. Now, I do have a couple of audio clips about North Korea's missiles that I found were rather interesting.
How bad is this North Korea nuclear weapons threat, and is it something the United States should really be worried about?
Well, I think we should worry less about it in terms of a capable missile with a miniaturized warhead that we know works, that can strike the U.S. mainland or even Alaska. And we should actually take a page from the book of Clausewitz, who said that everything's political in the end. And I think the real threat is the fact that the long-range missile they're pursuing is a symptom of the larger problem, which is that North Korea has become a garrison state, isolated, a hermit kingdom, engaged in illicit trafficking just to stay afloat, and which constantly threatens Seoul with 8,000-piece artillery barrage at any moment.
All right. So that was part of something called Strategic Studies Quarterly, and it's actually put out by the United States Air Force. I thought this was pretty interesting. Now, everything is political at the end, but I'm not sure about not worrying about the North Korea rocket. But let's take a listen to the second half of what he had to say.
And nuclear weapons really are a symptom of their garrison mentality, where really the leader is the state is the society, and if the leader feels his legitimacy is challenged by the U.S. and by neighbors, if he feels like North Korea is in a tight place as a nation, is faltering in its basic sovereign autonomy and existence, then it may feel like it needs to lash out to defend its sovereign autonomy. And so really, to wrap it up, I think their long-range missile is a threat, but to me it's a symptom of the larger problem and the larger threat, which is North Korean instability and isolation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it is. I do think there is some truth, especially to the second half of that statement, that it's a symptom of the instability and isolation, but I also think it is a direct threat to U.S. national security. Let's just be clear about that. So, there is nothing more to be said with that one. I mean, what can I say? The fact that North Korea actually expects to develop a missile, allow them to go the way of Iran and develop a missile that can strike us is just plain quackers, kids. Yep, quackers. And I'm not sure, although an intermediary may be necessary, I'm not sure the Pope is the right pick. Okay, we're not done with the Korean Peninsula, kids. Sorry. We're not done. I didn't get to cover a lot of stuff last night. Now, let's continue along with the nuclear missile stuff. The Defense Intelligence Agency has provided the first official U.S. assessment of North Korea's latest missile test, telling a Senate committee that the reclusive nation is on a clear trajectory to obtaining a nuclear missile that could hit the U.S. I don't have any audio from this committee. I did not have a chance to track it down. I will work on putting some together. Now, the Pukusang-2 intermediate-range ballistic missile was the most successful launch to date. And the DIA Director Lieutenant General Vincent Stewart and Director of National Intelligence Dan Coates testified that this rocket has the tactical specifications and technical characteristics of being capable of carrying nuclear warheads. If left on its current trajectory, the regime will ultimately succeed in fielding a nuclear-armed missile capable of threatening the United States homeland. While nearly impossible to predict when this capability will be operational, the North Korean regime is committed and is on a pathway where this capability is inevitable. And I think that's a pretty terrifying statement, kids. They understand the physics, it's just a matter of design. The missile tests, along with the 2016 tests of more than a dozen theater ballistic missiles, and its submarine-launched ballistic missile system, its launch of a satellite last year into space, and its launch of earlier this year of what North Korea said was a land-based variant of its submarine-launched ballistic missiles, highlights Pyongyang's commitment to diversifying its missile forces and nuclear delivery options, while strengthening missile force survivability. In other words, they don't want us to be able to take them all out in a couple of quick strikes, kids. In his written testimony, Stewart described North Korea as a critical security challenge for the U.S. that is capable of posing a direct threat, and also includes the capability of conducting disruptive cyber attacks against regional adversaries, or as an asymmetric response to perceived challenges in political, military, or economic domains. North Korea's weapons of mass destruction program, political public threats, defiance of the international community, and confrontational military posturing, cyber activities, and potential for instability pose a complex and increasingly grave national security threat to the United States and its interest. I'm sorry, this is scary stuff, kids. We're not done. We're not done with quackers. An unidentified object flies from North Korea over the border with South Korea. South Korea's military fired warning shots after it spotted an unidentified flying object from North Korea across the demilitarized zone that divides the two countries. This is according to the South Korean Joint Chiefs of Staff. The object, which South Korean military said was no longer visible, was spotted 2 days after Pyongyang test-fired a ballistic missile. It's second in 7 days. Excuse me, Mr. Frog's trying to chime in. It's not the first time South Korea, of course, has reacted to an object sent across its border. 2 suspected North Korean drones were found in South Korea in 2014, one on the island of Bangang and the other in the city of Paoju, close to the border. The United Nations Security Council is set to meet this morning to discuss North Korea's recent actions, including Sunday's missile test. Of course, its members condemned the launch in a statement, calling it highly destabilizing behavior, flagrant and provocative defiance of the Security Council. Now, for those of you who don't know, the situation on the Korean Peninsula has intensified in recent months. Under the Trump administration vowing to pressure Pyongyang to the negotiating table, Kim Jong-un's regime has responded defiantly, forging ahead with missile tests. Although the country has held back on a nuclear test. Alright kids, we are almost out of time because I got the Jen and Rick show hot on my heels. I've got one last story involving the Korean Peninsula. But this one's kind of cute, okay? Had to find a cute one to end the day on. Will the 2018 Olympics in South Korea, will the North be a participant or a provocateur? Yes, the 2018 Winter Olympics are slated to be held in South Korea. The Winter Olympics will take place in February in Pyeongchang, South Korea, about 40 miles from the demilitarized zone separating North and South Korea. If any North Korean athletes qualify for the Winter Games, none have so far, plans call for them to travel through the heavily fortified demilitarized zone in what South Korean officials describe as a gesture of peace. Less than 9 months from the opening ceremony, North Korea continues to develop and test ballistic missiles that could strike South Korea and Japan. It's impossible to know whether such threats will intensify to the point of disrupting the Winter Games, or whether, as with security and health concerns at recent Olympics, warnings will ease, and one of the world's largest sporting events will not be directly affected. However, there are people who feel safer back on American soil and outside of the Korean Peninsula. And on a cool note, remember, North and South Korea played a soccer game in recent months in North Korea. It's too late to... The International Olympic Committee has said it is following the situation on the Korean Peninsula very closely. We are not considering a worst-case scenario. It is our goal and our responsibility to do our job to ensure a safe running of these Olympic Games in Pyeongchang. It appears too late to move the Winter Games to another country, and that's according to current and former Olympic officials. It takes years to prepare for security, ticketing and housing, building, upgrading, testing required for ski courses, luge tracks, and speed skating ovals. It also seems unlikely at this date that South Korea will try to reduce tensions and promote goodwill by offering North Korea a chance to host some Olympic events. The Pyeongchang Olympics will promote a spirit of peace by considering the relationship of North Korea through other means. So, North Korea is a medal-winning power in such sports as weightlifting, gymnastics, and judo at the Summer Olympics, but has a much lower profile at the Winter Olympics. Alright, folks, so we will find out what happens with the Winter Olympics. As always, you can find me on Twitter at Jessies POV, and you can shoot me an email at the station at jessiespov@klrnradio.com. And on that note, folks,